Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the CrossFit Games Update Show. I'm Sean Woodland with Tommy Marquez and Pat Sherwood, wrapping up our look at the teenager divisions with the 16 to 17-year-old girls division. And like we said with the boys, it's not going to be long before we see some of the names in this division competing alongside the likes of Sara Sigmundsdottir and Kara Webb and Annie Thorisdottir and Samantha Briggs.
Yeah, and we're just starting to kind of put the finishing touches on the first decade of competition for the CrossFit Games is concerned. And these are the athletes that are going to be the flag bearers for the very next decade coming up, as well as the entire fitness movement and health industry as we try to kind of reverse some of the trends that we've seen in past years.
And there are some names that we've been talking about in this division that if they continue on the path that they're on, they'll have that, oh, everyone knows Rich Froning, one of them being someone that we're going to chat about, Ms. Sullivan. She's killing it.
Yeah, top 10 women in the 16 to 17-year-old division go to the CrossFit Games. And Pat mentioned Sydney Sullivan. It was her, and then it was everybody else. She finishes the Open with just 13 points, 24 points ahead of Filippa Ferm, who finished in second. But then just 10 points separate Ferm from Allison Weiss, who's in 7th place. You mentioned Sydney Sullivan. She was the 14 to 15-year-old champion last year. She ages up. Now, despite being on the younger side here in this division, still very clearly the favorite.
She absolutely destroyed the Open. And as we saw with some of the younger divisions, when these kids get older and bump up, you can slide down the leaderboard. No, but she won the Open both years in a row, demolished the field at the Games last year. There were 7 events. She had 6 first place finishes, and then her quote-unquote bad one was 4th on the final event. She was so dominant. Out of CrossFit Jenks, she's just 16 years old, and she has everything from a 2-minute 48-second Fran to a 180 clean and jerk, and I'm just looking forward to sitting in the stands and seeing what she can do again.
I don't think you can overstate her performances even from last year. 2015 for the teenage division was a massive year of firsts, and Sydney Sullivan was right at the forefront of it from start to finish. It was the first full year that the teenage division was formally included in the Games season. Sydney was the first Open champion in her division, the first Games champion. She had all those first place finishes. 2016, she could be the very first repeat champ from 2 different divisions if she holds on to her spot. In 18 events over the 2 years, 1 finish outside of the top 5. It's hard to imagine another athlete, save maybe Froning, that has been that good in such a short period of time.
Who has the best chance of keeping her off the top of the podium this year?
Actually, somebody that she competed against last year in that younger division who also aged up, that's Filippa Ferm. So she took 6th place. Now she's 2nd in the Open, right behind Sullivan. She's coming from across the pond over CrossFit 360 degrees out of Sweden, just 16 years old. Last year at the Games on the long chipper, she took 4th, so demonstrated she had some really good lungs and capacity there. Couple that with 179-pound clean and jerk, 159-pound snatch, and I'm very interested to see what she can do.
Well, right behind her, another European, Gabrielle Magala, who's a newcomer to the Games and has some very impressive performances in the Open this year thus far. She was 1st place overall in her division in 16.2. We've talked about how good Sydney Sullivan is. Well, she beat Sydney by almost a minute in that particular workout, wow. And this is probably one of the most impressive performances from the teenagers I've seen so far in the Open, and that was 16.5. She was 1st place with a time of 9:33. Back in 2014, when this workout was first introduced, that time would have beaten the likes of Katrin Davidsdottir, wow. China Cho, Margot Alvarez, and nearly a dozen other women's Games athletes on the individual side. And remember, she did the same weight, same prescribed workout as well. So that is a phenomenal performance. If she can hit a couple home runs like she did in the Open, she's got a shot.
Who's an athlete that's outside the top 5 that has the best chance of working her way into a battle for one of those top 3 spots?
I think the girl sitting in 7th right now, which is Allison Weiss. So 7th in the Open in 2016. Last year at the Games, she made her way onto the podium where she took 3rd place in the 16 to 17-year-old division. Had a solid Open except for the final workout where the thrusters and burpees caused her a little bit of a headache, but capable athlete out of College Hill CrossFit, 146-pound thruster she put up at the Games last year, 917 on Amanda, so she's a year better and prepared.
All the teenage divisions are going to be a blast to watch. They get going on July 19th in Carson, California at the CrossFit Games. Tickets are still available. Go to games.crossfit.com for more information on that. And again, this could be the last year we are in Carson, California, so if you've kind of been on the fence about whether or not you should go, this is your last chance to get down there and see the Games in Southern California, possibly, as maybe we are going to move to another location here in the future. But it's in Carson, California this year. Tickets still available. Remember, get those. It's a blast to go to. We'll be back next week to start breaking down all the Masters divisions. For Pat Sherwood and Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. We'll see you guys next week.